Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om. Keep it under the phone.
The lamp is clear.
Right, Prem Namaste. Maybe seated now. Prem Namaste to one and all. To pay your last respect viewing, you can come in a orderly manner. Place your flowers or animals, and you all can carry on.
Mahaka
So
Ladies, gentlemen, dear children, Prem Namaste to one and all. It's rather sad we have gathered here on this note to pay our last respects late Keso Ramperthab, dad, granddad. At the outset, from a Hindu point of view, we must understand and accept that death is a reality. There is absolutely nothing we can do to change the situation. But pray to Almighty God to give courage and support to the bereaved family. Peace and salvation to the departed soul in its final destination. Very seldom we discuss the topic of death freely or comfortably. Today is an excellent opportunity for all of us to take stock of ourselves and confirm if we are treading in the correct direction for this final day. On earth, when we are to enjoy this material world, we look for the best in the form of color, taste, perfume, fruit, etc. So does Bhagwan Almighty God. According to His criteria, He chooses accordingly. So a loss on earth will always be a gain in heaven. आप सबके प्रेम नमस्ते. बड़ा दुख की बात है आप सब इकट्ठे हुए हमारे श्रीमान केशव प्रसाद के अंतिम संस्कार के, परंतु विनती है सब परमेश्वर से प्रार्थना करें कि इस दुखित परिवार को सुख, शांति, हिम्मत दे, ताकत दे और इस जीवगत आत्मा को मोक्ष करें. We'll join in prayer. I think we got to understand, or therefore it is a must to know, to understand and read the Bhagavad Gita and the Ramayana. So we will be able to understand what is life and death, all of us. We are like visitors here. Eventually, we all got to go according to our deeds, our karma, etc. So the formula is the Bhagavad Gita that tells you how to live. And if you break it down, it's very simple. It's be good and do good. Bhagavan Krishna says, just like these slokas, when one is born, one has to die. When one dies, one is born. Simply put it like clothing in this material world. When we take off the old clothing and discard and put off new one. So Bhagavan talks about the soul, the Atma. But unfortunately in this material world, we got that attachment, the Maya. So when you get the Bhagavad Gita in your veins, in your blood, so you'll fully understand and accept what is life and death all about. And it says the soul, no amount of wind can blow it, vast fires cannot burn it, the waters cannot drown it, the sharpest of object cannot even destroy and cut that. So that in mind, let's pray, concentrate, you are sharing. Apavitra pavito va sarvastam yaha smrit pundrikaksham svahya bhayantar You following your family?
Yeah. My big brother.
Yeah, he's supposed to be a big brother. Pavitra. Pavito va sarvastamya. Om Rakshantu. Only you drink this water. Keshwai Narayan Mahavaye Namaha. Wash your hand. Rishikeshai. Right hand thumb up. Touch it. Om Vangam Asyastu. Om Nasor me Pranostu. Om Akshnor me Chakshurastu. Om Kanyor me Shotru. Om Bagu Or me Balamastu. Om Ur O me Ojo. Aris Ani me Angani. On the face. Looks very young, eh? Like 21-year-old boy. Om Pavitrestu Vaishnabhyo Saviturva Prasyat Kama Pune Tachkeyam. Right, on the left hand. Repeat that. Pavitrestu Yat Kama Pune Tachkeyam Namah. Hari Om Tat Sat. Hold it. That's it. Connect your hands. Om Vishnu, 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 Vishnu Ragha, Dhavartman, Sri Svet Varakalpe, Vaivas Manvantare Astavin Satit में कलियुग कलिप्रथम चरणे जम्बू दीपे दक्षिण अफ्रीका कन्ने क्वाज़ुलु नेटाल डरबन नगर टोंगास्तान पुरी गोत्र all take your names, family members सब यजमान सा कुटुंब प्रथमासे पक्ष तिथि शुभ तिथि शनिवार आदि गोत्र से प्रेतस्य नाम से केशव प्रसाद नाम से पिंडानम अहं करिष्यामि स्वस्ति आयुष you hold the tray. Sprinkle few drops of water here. Give him 3 goose of that water, 3 goose. आदि गोत्र से अमुक गोत्र से प्रेतस्य नाम से केशव प्रसाद नाम में पिंड स्थान है ते मयादिते तव पवित्रेस्तु वैष्णव्यो सवितुर्वा यत कामा पुने पवित्रेस्तु आद्य गोत्र से मुगोत्र से प्रेतस्य नाम से केशव प्रसाद नाम से मृत्यु स्थान है ईश्वे पिन ते मत शन्नो देवी आपो भवन्तु रविस्मे आदि गोत्र से नाम से पिंड स्थान है ते मयाद तो जन जले थे पवित्रे पवित्रेस्तो यत कामा पुने तचकेया आदि गोत्र से गो प्रेत से नाम से केशव प्रसाद नाम से ईश्वे पिंते मयादिते तो वाटन्स जन जले ते मयादिते तो प्रतिष्ठित. Right. Take this one with the goose. Push it inside. Keep this water inside. Put in the tree and keep the tree. This one will go on the other side. So take the tree. Yeah, put in the tree again, right? Correct. Just take a few petals, a few sheets, all of your. You hold hands your practice. Om Tvamadidevaः Puruषः Puranye Satya Vishwanat Param Nidhanam Vevasi Jaye Om Na Jayate Mritasya Kada तेजस्य रवि भक्ताय सुरपूजितो धर्माधिकावा रूपे नमो ओम स्मार्तितं स्मतोक्रम स्माति नमः ओम ना जायते मृतस्य हे परमात्मा आप उपजाएंगे सर्वे ज्ञान जानते हैं मनोकामनाएं आत्मा का जन्म न होते न मृत्यु यह अनादि और अमर है शरीर को नाश होने पर भी आत्मा को नाश नहीं ओम नैनम चिदंती क्लेश्य है आत्मा का हथियार न काट सकते आग जला सकते हैं पानी डुबा सकते ना हवा सुखा सकते ओम नैनम क्लेशयुक्ते प्रत्राय व्यनवा जैसे मनुष्य फटे पुराने कपड़े को उतार कर नवीन कपड़े को धारण करता है वैसे यह आत्मा रोगी अस्थिक्षर भविष्य को धारण करता है ओम ना जायते शांतिर्भवतु ऑफियो हरि ओम तत्सत Just to add on, from a Hindu point of view, it is sad that we have gathered here, but as I mentioned, but Dad lived his life to the fullest. As a family priest, also knowing him, dedicated. So as much as you're going to miss him and see the void, but it's important, the legacy that he left behind, the prayer that he thought about, how to treat mankind, the prayer, puja, part. So if you want him to be happy and peaceful, follow in his footsteps. They didn't have it. He might have had not degrees and diplomas, but intellect was high, if you know what I'm talking about. So just follow in those lines, and you'll be blessed, and he'll be in peace. That's a close family members. हाथ जोड़ के प्रार्थना. You call your mom there? हाथ जोड़ के प्रार्थना करो. I'll do a concluding prayer because of time and commitments. I will be leaving and meet you all at the crematorium to do the final rites. Right hand join. Take one on. All will rise in an orderly manner. Prayer of peace, Shanti Path. But that does not mean we are completing and moving, but just concluding the prayer as well. Om Dev Shantir Antarikshagvam Shanti Prithvi Shanti Rapa Shanti Oshadhayo Shanti Vanaspatya Shanti Vishwadeva Shanti Brahma Shanti Sarvegvam Shanti Shanti Reva Shanti Sama Shantir Edi Om Shanti 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 Shanti. Off in an orderly manner, off it and take your seats. All may be seated. All will join it. Mahamantra. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Om. Om Namah Shivaya, 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 Om Namah Shivaya Namah. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Right. You all can carry on. Those who have come not paid your respects, you can do so now. I will be leaving you all and meet you all there. What needs to go?
Krishna Namaste, ladies and gentlemen. You know, this is a very sad and an auspicious occasion, and it will be my humble request that everybody just simmer down a little. It is such a holy and a sad occasion, so we need to show a little respect to the departed soul. Alright? We are doing bhajan and kirtans, and we need everybody to have attention on the name of the Lord. This is why we are doing bhajan and kirtan. So I do apologize. I know that we all of us, we get carried away, but The soul knows what's happening, but it cannot tell us what to do. But I am telling you now, please, can we just simmer it down a little bit and concentrate on the bhajan and the kirtans that's been done. You can sing along with me, right? And we have many speeches to come through as well. So I'm going to be doing two bhajans and we'll have our first speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, I do apologize for asking you to simmer down a little because I know we tend to get carried away, all of us, okay? So please, 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 right? Just for a short while. And before you know it, it'll be all over. So please, due respect to everybody and the family, we need to have silence for the Atma, right? We can commence with the first speech. Here's a mic, take something, the mic. Here's a mic here. No, until the body goes.
Good afternoon, Prem Namaste, dear friends and mainly my relatives. We've all gathered here this afternoon to pay our last respect to a very dear person, the late Mr. Keso Ramperthab. I always known him as Kesobai, and I think many of you all refer to him as Kesobai. My name is Roy Ramdo. I'm Kesobai's cousin, his mama's son, and my relationship with Kesobai goes back from a little boy. From the age of 12, every school holiday until I even went to university was spent with Kesobai. I will make a plan, he'll pick me up in Verulam one day after school closes and return me fully attired, to hold a new, spanking new set of clothes and spending money back to school. And that's my relationship with late Keso. Rajiv called me on Thursday evening to tell me, Roy Kaka, Kesobai is critical. And I kept in touch with him, little knowing that at this stage he will not make it. Now we all know Kesobai was ill for a while, and we all had hopes to see that he'll come out of hospital. Unfortunately, God knows the best. Kesobai leaves behind Bhabi, Caddy, and of course his two lovely daughters, Taruna and Amrisha, and of course Rajiv and his son, the late Rajen. It's hardly, I think, a year and a half since Rajen passed on. Of course, Kesobai leaves behind his brother Rishi and his two sisters, Maya and Ishara, Fortunately, Rishi is on his way from Johannesburg. I think he'll only land here at about 2:45, and I'm sure he'll join us at the crematorium. And of course, host of grandchildren and great-grandchildren. Now, you are not measured by the degrees or the titles you have, but rather the crowd you attract at your funeral. And this is how high esteem Keso enjoyed in community. He was the pioneer, at least the founding member, I think, of Flying Lotus Bus Company that thrived very, very well until it fell victim to the taxis, and of course the business then closed. But Keso was involved in community affairs, local government affairs. Messages of condolences came from all different parties, from Charmaine Thakur, from the Minority Front, and of course Logi Naidu, who worked closely from the ANC, but this was Keso. Somebody who was always smiling, never a dull moment. And in fact, Rajiv J shared with me that Keso turned 80 in March, and he wanted to give him a party with Amrisha, and Keso turned around and says, no, save the money, you might need it for my funeral. And this is how I think he's braced himself for the inevitable, but he was quite a fighter. He leaves behind a legend. And very difficult shoes for the children to follow, but I'm sure they'll do so. I always found Keso this handsome man. I always teased him and says, you know what, you are a Shashi Kapoor, you know. And he was held in esteem like that. I know he had so many admirers, sorry, Bhabhi, but you know, this is Keso, friendly to everybody, and we'll all remember him for that. We have a few speakers. In fact, my list was almost overflowing with people who wanted to speak. But we'll start off with his grandson, Yash Ramperthab, who will deliver a message from the family. Yash.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Yash, the grandson of the late Keso Ramperthab, and today I've been blessed with the honor of saying a few words on behalf of the family. We're here today to give gratitude to an extraordinary life, and to celebrate the remarkable man that my Aja was. A true gentleman, a loving husband, a devoted father, grandfather, and grandfather. A true cornerstone of the community. My Aja had this incredible zest for life, and he fought courageously all his ailments. We'll undoubtedly remember him for his infectious smile that had the ability to light up the room no matter where he walked into. His journey through life was marked by success, leadership, and an unwavering commitment to serving others. He did little for himself, demonstrating true servant leadership. From a young age, he led a very successful bus company and sugarcane farm. He not only steered the business to greater heights, but extended his kindness far and wide to family and the community. For years, he was responsible for transporting members of the community, as far as transporting school children, ensuring they got to school on time. His efforts helped shape the futures of many young minds, reflecting his deep-rooted belief in the power of education and community support. My Aja's leadership extended beyond his business. As a political councillor, he served the Tongaat community and worked tirelessly to ensure betterment for all. In his role as chairperson of the Tongaat Bus Association, he championed the cause for improved facilities, proper bus ranks, and ensured sufficient government support. His advocacy and dedication brought about significant improvements that not only benefited the community, but largely everyone in Tongaat. Family and friends were always at the heart of everything that he did. He was the glue that kept us all together and embodied strong family values, ensuring that love and care for each other were always at the forefront of our decisions. He always had a friend or two at his side. He was known for his care of the elderly. He would often be found in the company of older folk, driving to fetch his aunts, treating them with kindness and care and affection. His actions spoke volumes about the kind of person he is. One who always put others first. My Aja's life was enriched by the love and companionship of my Aji. When Ajma was not busy phoning his friends, she was always cooking his favorite meals, adding a half step of sugar and salt here and there. Ajma has been unwavering in her support for Aja, which no doubt added a few joyous years to his life. Ajma, together you and Aja created a home filled with warmth, love and unforgettable memories. You, Ajma, epitomize Mother Durga, her strength, love and devotion. I am sure Aja will search for you in many lives to come back to his soulmate. Together, you both exemplified what it means to be a dedicated, loving couple, setting an incredible example for all of us to follow. In remembering my Aja, we see a man with a personality akin to that of James Bond. Charming, charismatic, impeccable hairline, and always well-dressed. But beyond this persona was a man with the most deep kindness, integrity and commitment to making the world a better place. His smile, his leadership, his dedication to the community and family, and his boundless love will forever be etched in our hearts. We have learned invaluable skills from Aja. First, to be humble and smile, and second, to serve and be generous. He also taught us to be sharp and business-minded with a keen growth mindset, to always remain positive and shine bright in the darkest of times. As we say our goodbyes, let us celebrate the incredible legacy that he leaves behind. A legacy of love, service, and unwavering commitment to the well-being of others. He was indeed a man who made a massive difference, a true gentleman in every sense of the word. Thank you, Aja, for your legacy.
Juna se Can you have the next speaker? If you're ready.
Thank you, Yash, for those sentiments. Now, all those who knew Kesobai well, he treasured his friends. To him, friends meant a lot. And as a youngster, I got to know of his friends and some of his sincerest friends. And one of them was the late Mr. Man Singh that passed on. And he then had another very good friend at that stage, Rajiba Gwandas, who is here. And of course, then I met Ranjit Chunilal, and of course Anand Jairaj, who is also part of the Mailal family. So now it gives me great pleasure to call upon Anand Jairaj to say a few words on behalf of the late Keso Ramperthab.
Namaste, friends and family of the Chattargun family. I've been entrusted with a very, very difficult task and a very emotional one as well. And forgive me if I do get emotional at times, but families, friends and associates of the bereaved Ramperthab family, I've been invited to address to you and pay tribute to a very great and dear soul who has been taken away from us. Keso Bhai was called to rest on the 5th of July 2024, that's yesterday, after a protracted period of illness with which he had struggled stoically and bravely. But eventually, we are all mortals, and death eventually do overtake us. And Keso Bhai has now finally succumbed and he's been taken away from us. And we are feeling the great void and loss that his departure has created amongst us. I have known him since the late 1960s, a few years before astronaut Neil Armstrong set foot on the moon. And that is over five decades ago. Hope you can hear me. There's a feedback there. Initially, I got to know him as a friend through Ranjit Chunilal, when Ranjit and I were studying at the university. I used to spend a lot of time in Esnamba during those periods when we were studying. Ranjit and Keso, they shared a very, very close bond of friendship. That bond permeated through to me as well. There was hardly a day when Ranjit failed to visit Keso and his family at the residence deep in the heart of Esnamba, where Flying Lotus Bus Company had its headquarters. Years later, the Chattargun Ramperthab family became my family as well when I married Shirley. Shirley's dad, the late Dilochan Balgobin, and Pua, that is Keso's mother, late Mrs. Devmati, were first cousins. So a friend became family. Father Ramperthab Chattargun and Mother Devmati were descendants of indentured laborers. They themselves became sugarcane producers and offered valuable employment to a large contingent of local workers. The family then went on to establish and build the formidable Flying Lotus bus empire. When Keso grew up, he became an integral part of the bus empire and played a significant role in its continued success. Apart from being family and friend, the family became clients of our law practice. At that time it was Chunilal Jairaj and Partners, and later on when Chunilal left me, it was Anand Jairaj and Associates. And of course where Rajiv served his articles of clerkship. So Keso became friend, family, and was known to me professionally. So I got to know him from various aspects. And I can tell you that he never failed us in any of the roles that he played in my life. Keso was no doubt a very sincere and devoted friend to whom we all looked up with great respect and reverence. He was an amiable and dignified personage. All that has been said about him and all that will be said will not be any exaggeration. There are many instances when Ranjit and I interacted with Keso and his family. I could spend hours recounting our experiences. However, I take this opportunity to single out just one somewhat humorous instance, which still lives firmly in my memory to this day, and which Keso and I used to recount years later and enjoy. And I want Bhabi to listen to this. You'll remember this, Bhabi. In 1972, Keso and Kadi Bhabi planned to visit Swaziland and Lorenzo Marx, now known as Maputo. Now in those days, it was a big deal to be visiting another country, and that was in 1972. And of course, Keso Bhai and Kadi Bhabi invited Ranjit, and Ranjit drove me into that trip as well. Now, amongst the various places we visited and shows that we attended in Ellen, Lorenzo Marx was known as Ellen, we visited the zoo. There in the zoo we came across a fenced hippo pool, in which there was an enormous hippo that had his jaws wide open, expecting visitor to drop food in its mouth. At that time, Bhabi was expecting the second son, Rajiv. She was, I don't know how many months, I did not even ask her that. Now she used to carry some lemon with her, and she used to nibble on that lemon because she was expecting that he wanted something sour. Now when she came across the hippo with his big mouth open, she dropped one whole lemon into his mouth. Now it immediately closed his mouth, and when we passed by again, that mouth wasn't open at all. This is one of the fond memories. I can recount many, Keso Bhai had a very good sense of humor. He was an enigma because he was a very serious person when it mattered, but he had a very good sense of humor. And therefore I take this opportunity of saying something light-hearted at his funeral. It is a sad occasion, but sometimes I think we need a bit of levity as well to his head. And Bhabi, you remember that incident of the hippo, right? I could go on with stories and fond memories, but as you no doubt appreciate, time is of essence, and other speakers before me have covered many aspects, and those who will be coming after me will be covering many aspects of it. Suffice to say that we are all indeed deeply saddened by this tremendous loss. On behalf of everyone, I take the liberty of expressing our condolence to the Ramperthab family on this great loss of a great, noble human being. And on behalf of the family, I express thanks to all of you for your presence and for your assistance and support at this great moment. Thank you and Prem Namaste.
Thank you, Anand. I'll just call on the next speaker, and as we pay tribute to Keso Bhai, I think we'll be failing in our duties if we don't compliment our Bhabi, Kadi Bhabi, for all she has done for Keso Bhai during the time of his illness and whenever I visited her, she was always in there giving him every assistance. And Keso will be a person in hospital, he'll order something out of, and Bhabhi will go out of her way to go and make sure she gets it for him the very same evening, takes it to hospital the very next day. And that was Keso. Not that he will eat it or so forth, but sometimes he will just make it difficult for you. I call upon now Barry Chandrika, Bhabhi's nephew, to pay a tribute. Barry.
Prem Namaste, friends and relatives of the bereaved family. I think our gathering here is twofold this afternoon. As the previous speakers said, it is to pay our last respects and tribute to the late Keso, who was my Mosa. And I think more importantly, for us to honor the life of this legend, the son of the soil of his neighbor. Now, many of you that may have interacted with him in recent times only know one little part, and I must say there is a little bit of a disadvantage being a speaker down the line of people, because so many good things have already been said which you wanted to say already. But we're going to go back to Keso Mosa's humble roots. And I'll have to adjust my pitch a little bit to say you, while you have heard that he was part of an empire, I can tell you that Mosa did not grow up with a silver spoon in his mouth. When he became an integral part of the business just after school, his wit, astute business side, and his business acumen and skills were put to the test. And I can tell you that he tried to make that a successful empire. Not by just standing as a manager with hands in the pocket. Today, many of us complain when we drive our little cars without power steering, park assist, this, that, and the other technology. Mosa, as a youngster, would drive a bus fully laden with 100 passengers, no power steering, no powered brake, but he would be turning in that ramp, the little corners around. And those are the things that he put in his heart and his soul to build that empire. Sadly, as the previous speakers mentioned, passenger transport is not something for us in this day and age. But we want to go back to the contribution that he made. Two of the most important contributions to the economy of a country: passenger transport and farming. Today, they give it glorious terms: food security. Yes, Mosa and his team provided that a few generations ago. As it was mentioned, what we remember of him is not all the material possessions that he had. But if he was in your presence, the brightness in his eyes, the way he would twinkle, that radiant smile will brighten your darkest day. And wherever you are, Mosa will make a point of finding you and talking to you and making you feel comfortable. Irrespective of what your status was, how high you were in the hierarchy or how low. He had that heart for the downtrodden. I happened to be standing with him, and I did share this with Rajiv sometime. In the rank one day, a blistering hot day. Lines were full, and there was this mother, African mother, with a child tied to her back. And suddenly Musa took a walk. Went right to the ice cream person, got an ice cream for the child, and told me, it's hot. The child must be thirsty, yeah? Something that I didn't even think of. Yes, he had a heart and a feeling for all. And that is what attracted people to him, like you find moths getting attracted to a candlelight. Anyone that had any kind of problem could have found a patient and a listening ear in Keso Musa. Not to mention a shelter and food. Right for you. Come and live with us. Open to many of the people. Provided opportunities. Today, flourishing words again. Skills development. Learnerships. That Musa practiced years ago. Picking people who would drop out of school. Picking people who were in trouble. Come to the yard. You learn something. Yes, that was skills development. And on top of that, they would get a pay. And today's job, they call it, you get a stipend. Yes, you will get a pay. But you are getting knowledge that you can carry on. And people will bear testimony to that today. Those are the legends that we can think of in terms of succession plans for the future. And here we can say many of the people gathered here today can bear testimony to that. I can tell you that Musa was never a selfish man. In the latter years, when he himself did not have buses operating, he still played a vital role in the association. He didn't stop and say, I'm not in it anymore. What do I have to win? Yes, but he thought of all his friends and the people in the association who provided employment and had to feed the family, and sat in as the chair of the association for a number of years as well. Nothing for him for material gain, but to champion the success of those people that are getting a raw deal compared to other competitors in the taxi association. A man who was a true legend again. Someone who will give without remembering, and he will take very, very reluctantly and always remembering that. Yes, I happen to be standing with Musa at a funeral, and in that, being the person he will make friends with anyone around there. And yes, there was a man of a Muslim faith standing and talking, and as we stood, the person asked him, where do you live? So, well, I live in Upper Tungat. They're asking, why? Do you know anybody there? Do you know anything? He said, no, I come around there somewhere in Verlem. We got a beautiful religious site. But you know what? That site was donated to my people by a non-Muslim. I could hear at the time. And Keso Musa stood humbly and smiled and said, yes, that was me. Can you believe a man so deeply rooted who will donate a land for another religious organization and not even talk about it, and that was the only time I came to know about it. It was when the other party brought the information to the table. That was Keso Musa. He never went on to blurt and state what he has done. But he did it, and God willing, it came out to the fore through a different way. Yes, a man of great integrity could stand and think on his feet and give you an answer, not just to give you an answer, but a calculated answer providing a practical and workable solution should you have a problem. He won't just brush you off to give you an answer. No. Absolutely level-headed. Thinking of what today they would call lateral thinking. But Musa has done that in the early years. Unfortunately, much of that was not exposed to the people. We can go on to talk, but we want you to understand that a man of Keso Musa's stature is very, very difficult to come by. It is a good saying that we should not let our possessions possess us. That was Keso Musa, who will take out his Mercedes keys and give it to you. If you needed anything, you could just help yourself to it. Yes, that is how unselfish and how caring he was for people. What we need to do, ladies and gentlemen, is to take the book out of his page. And that's where we continue his legacy. And that legacy is do good, be good, and be humble. The number of people that had to make the way here is testament to the man that we are talking about. His great ideas and wit earned him great respect in the transportation board among whites in the apartheid days, when all our other people used to make sir, sir for them. Keso Musa would be outspoken. His kind of wit and intelligence gained popularity where members of the minority front had hunted him in order to establish a little base. And in that time, he had the opportunity of even being a councillor of the area. Not many of us can make such a great stride without being in the forefront of politics for a long time. But yes, it was all that he did that earned him that place to say that he could be candidate #1 for the area. There too, he championed the cause of all the people that are suffering. I could see photographs of him in the newspaper pointing to the damages in the roads and things like that, where people were being actually sidelined in our areas. That was the kind of person. He didn't say, I am okay, I'm not worried about everyone else. Again, that unselfish character of him comes out. Ladies and gentlemen, we do understand that this is a sore loss. But we have to understand also that Musa is now in a better place. We have to use this to say that he has been promoted from where we are and elevated to be in the ranks of those that deserved that heavenly spot. On behalf of the family, I want to thank you sincerely for making your appearance here this afternoon. Those of you that rallied behind them in the time of need over the last 48 hours, provision of food, tea, etc. at home, messages of condolences, floral tributes, personal visits up and down. We are most grateful for that. Our job does not stop here. A little courtesy call for those that are remaining and bearing this loss will help to alleviate a great burden of the shoulders. I thank you.
Thank you, Barry, for your tribute, and we'll now continue with a few more bhajans. Friends and relatives, the next speaker is Mr. Douglas Naidu, a family friend that want to pay a tribute to Keso. Mr. Naidu.
There's too much of talking. Just let it talk.
Sorry, friends and relatives, we can have some silence. We have Mr. Naidu and then one more last speaker and more bhajans. And I think we scheduled to leave here at 4 o'clock in the crematorium.
Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, my humble salutations and prostrations unto the lotus feet of every one of you. We've gathered here this afternoon to pay our last respects to my dad, in inverted commas, Keso, as he was affectionately known, who passed on having just turned 80 years on the 4th of March after a short period of illness. Our dad was a devoted husband, a very caring father, and a caring father-in-law, a relative, and an uncle to a host of friends and family. A short while ago, I used the word dad in inverted commas, especially after the demise of his eldest son. Ma and dad and I became quite close to one another. And therefore, when I received news of the passing of my dad, I was in shock. I used to visit the Westbrook household a good few times, and both Ma and Dad will not allow me to leave unless I partake in some refreshment or lunch or dinner. And my message to Ma and the children and the family: be strong. God will take care of everything. Our father was an exponent of the philosophies of Hindu Dharma in raising their children, their grandchildren, and their great-grandchildren, having ingrained in them deep cultural values, respect for mankind, humility, trust, honesty, and responsibility. Our late dad is survived by his ever-caring Ma, whose wife, which I call Ma, his son Rajiv, daughters Taruna and Amrisha, son-in-law, daughters-in-law, and a host of friends and relatives. At this juncture, I would like to pay thanks to a few people, not in person though. Firstly, to all of you for being present here this afternoon in attending to these funeral rites, especially with today being a Saturday, and usually people are quite busy on a Saturday. to the medical staff and the nurses of the Buzamed Hospital, where Dad spent his last few days, a very big thank you to you. To our satsang group for their melodious and spiritual satsangs this afternoon. At a time like this, it is only spiritual awareness that can heal our souls. So thank you. To the funeral undertakers for the meticulous manner in which they have executed their duties. And to every one of you, however small it may have been, a very, very big thank you. Now, our Dad loved every one of us, even you. And this is the kind of message he will leave to all of us. And this is entitled, "To Those I Love and to Those That Love Me." This is what he would say. "When I am gone, release me. Let me go. I have so many things to see and do. You must not tie yourself to me with tears. Be thankful for our many beautiful years. I gave you my love. You can only guess how much you gave me happiness. I thank you for the love each of you have shown, but now it's time I traveled alone. So grieve a while if you grieve you must. Then let your grief be comforted by trust. It is only for a while that we must part. So bless the memories within your heart. I will not be far away, for life goes on. And if you need me, call and I will come. I will be near you, and if you listen to my heart, you will hear all my love around you, softly and clear. And when you come this way, I will greet you with a smile and say, welcome home. The members of the bereaved family would like to express their gratitude and appreciation to all those who have rallied around them during these difficult times, and for the messages of condolences and for the floral tributes. In conclusion, it is my fervent wish that God in His divine grace grant the members of the bereaved family the tranquility, the strength and the courage to bear this irreplaceable loss.
Thank you, Mr. Naidu. Friends and relatives, some refreshments are being served. Please help yourself. I know it's been a long afternoon. Unfortunately, we only managed to get a slot at the crematorium very late at 6 o'clock. So I know it's been a long day for many of us. So please, there's refreshments. Please partake. Our last speaker is also Bhabhi's nephew, Mr. Paul Naidu. Now, Paul started his career with Kesobai at Flying Lotus, and he's been very close to Kesobai. It's something that I personally know of. So over to you, Paul, to pay a tribute.
Thank you, Roy Bhai. That's very kind of you. I don't think that it's a very enjoyable speech to deliver on a day like this, because we should be doing this all the time when we have the opportunity. Certainly life doesn't present the opportunity where every day you can pay gratitude to somebody who's shaped your life and shaped the lives of so many other people. If I could put my speech together, all the previous speakers said everything that Mosa was definitely, and that legacy lives on. It's amazing, some of the people, my aunties were walking out there, and one of the aunties said, everybody said what was true about Keso. So those of you who know him from the outside and have heard from the previous speakers, really great man, out in the world. I went up to Bariba and I said to him, you must have actually stolen my speech from my mind, because there's one thing I noticed as I grew in the business world, in corporate and the BE and the leadership and vision and lateral thinking, all of those things, Barry White put it so appropriately. We did not know at that time this was happening. When Mosa told us you have Makania's transport, and the reason we have Makania's transport and Flying Lotus is because one day you will have to fit into this country, no matter what you do and how you do it. And you've got to find a way of doing it. And I'm doing it today with Makania's transport. So I spent a lot of time with him, Roy by his right. He always called me his right-hand man. And I'd like to share the insights in terms of what happened inside the house. And as Roy Bai said earlier on, we can't say a word without paying tribute to Caddy Mosi. And Mosa's famous word, Cad. You could hear Cad all the time. Whether he was watching TV, he was in the kitchen, whether he was driving in the car, wherever he was, even if he had to say it for no reason. So sometimes we don't know how a person expresses love and how that love permeates in every part, in every fiber of his cell to be able to say that. Whilst at the same time, he protected all of us from Cad. And Cad is Caddy Mosi. And the Caddy Mosi made sure that all of us, remember Roy Bai, we had to be in stick, you had to eat at a certain time, you don't waste food, you do all of those nice things. She kept us in check. And Mosa protected us. I can assure you, I can talk for the boys, I can talk for our late brother Ajay, I can talk for Rajiv, I can talk for everybody else. When we do certain things, boys are naughty, he will call us in, give us the talk and say, and y'all don't let Mosi know this. And you know what? You're lucky I know about it first. So everything that we did, in as much as he led us to where we are today, he also protected us wherever it meant protection. So I'd spend a lot of time asking Mosa questions about why certain things, what would you do, how would you do certain things. And I said to him, Mosa, what would be your biggest lesson to us boys? Because he used to, as Roy Bai said, he was our local James Bond. We'd go to every James Bond movie. My son Pirat was just reminding me when he came to Johannesburg, we went to see, he remembers that, a movie called Tomorrow Never Dies. So he did not miss a James Bond movie, doesn't matter where he was. And I was telling you this little secret, that's because Mosi know about it. One day I was busy in the office and I saw a letter written there and it was 008. So I took the letter to Mosi and I said, Mosi, look at this letter, 008. I got Mosa in trouble. He was known as 008. So in as much as Mosa had to run a formidable business and set the standards for what transportation should look like and how people should be treated, I said to him, Mosa, give us some lessons. Let us be better people, like you always say, you must be better, you must be better. Give us some lessons. And he went through it, he said, lesson number 1, always make sure you smile, you greet people, you shake hands, you look at them straight in the eye. I thought, wow. All the other speakers spoke about his infectious smile. Even Bezia Stewart, he was speaking about it too. Any room he went to, he would just smile and he would just infect that room with so much energy. That was the first thing. You've got to greet people, you've got to smile, you've got to be a good person from within you. And I looked at him. And for those of you who can see Mosa on any photograph, okay, the one thing that really stood out about him is that he had this inner light that shines through. I always describe Mosa as the person, when you look at a temple or you look at a mosque and you'll see those stained windows there. Those windows don't look nice during the day, okay? But if you happen to pass that church or mosque at night and they switched on the light and it shines through, those stained windows looked beautiful. And one day I said to him, I didn't know the words, and I said to him, Mosa, are you shining? I was much smaller, I used words, hey, Mosa, are you shining? He said, hey, I don't drink. I said, no, not that shining. You're like looking really nice, that kind of thing. And he said, when inside your heart you are good, then only you will shine. Hey, now I'm still trying to get to that level, but what he really meant was goodness begets goodness. And those of us who know Mosa, there were some people here just now who were part of the Flying Lotus bus company, drivers who started right from the beginning, like Barry told you, can tell you that his level of empowerment was that you make a difference to every person. So in that beautiful aura, he could make a difference to any person. There were times we worked so hard from the morning to afternoon. When I say worked so hard, we were like enjoying ourselves driving around. Like somebody said just now, I'll give you a Mercedes-Benz key. That was the absolute truth. No license, no nothing, Mercedes-Benz. And we had to pick up drivers and drop them off. And I said to him, Musa, why must we go pick this driver and drop him off and bring him here and do all of these things? He said to me, because that driver firstly feeds his family. He hasn't got transport to get to work to drive the bus. I am a transport company. If I can't provide transport first for my drivers, how am I going to provide transport for everybody else? And Musa had that. He would give it to you straight like that. There's no pulling back any punches. So he would say that. And the one day, one driver was running late or whatever, and he said, you know, take my car and go home. Exactly what Grandpa said. He gave him the Mercedes-Benz key. Now we kids, we're growing up, Mercedes-Benz, you know, you like it, we want to drive it, now the driver is taking it home. I said, Musa, why are you giving him this Mercedes-Benz to go home with? He said, listen to me and learn something. That driver is driving my bus that is, I don't know how much, 600, 800, 900,000. The lives that are in that bus is priceless. There's no money you can put on that 70, 80 people in that bus. And you complaining about a Mercedes-Benz that is 35,000 rand. That is called small thinking. Imagine what Barry Bhai was saying. The lessons that you learned at that time, that you know today, have become lessons not only in business, but they become lessons in humanity. Perhaps we did not, or we were not mature enough to understand Musa at that time. You know, when you're growing up, you're looking good, you want to go by the girls, you want to drive the car, go to the girls. So when he teaches you a lesson, oh, we're in trouble now. But today when we look back, these lessons have shaped so many lives. There is not a single person who worked with Musa in that company who today cannot show you either their children or grandchildren who have evolved in life and have been able to break the barriers of poverty or any sort of limitation and pass it on to their generations. Today you could meet somebody in Joburg and they would say to you, I know you. I've got that face, you know, I know you. Who am I? You Paul from Flying Lotus. Oh, okay. So who are you? My grandfather drove bus. My so-and-so did this. So you can meet people and that lineage, that grandfather story, somebody just said, my father, will have children and grandchildren now who have made it great in life. Of course, guess what happened every day? Like Rabbi said, we cannot say this without paying tribute to our Musi. We cannot do that. None of us as children, none of us as... By the way, Musa always made me feel good. You know, when they called me now, Musa still made me feel good even though he's not here. I'm the youngest speaker here. All the others, they come from, you know, the 1970s, Swaziland. Hey, what's Swaziland? Oh, Lawrence Omar, something, what's that? I had to recalculate. So being the youngest speaker, it's again testimony to the fact that Musa made everybody feel good. So that one famous word, cat, everyone sitting here who knows Musa well will tell you the next words. He met you, he greeted you, and the next words were, come home. Just like that. If you had to follow him or he had to follow you, but you had to come home. And his abundance mentality was such. Today I was showing Biraj, I was showing him the, you know, there was a thing called Teddy's, now it's called Gandhi's supermarket, and I was showing him everything from the market and the big doors. Musa will start from the rank into that market and get the, I've never found clean peaches like he used to buy. The fruit, the abundance he would bring home, the fish market was right in that market in Tonga. The fish, whatever, he would bring it home and he would say, Cat, so-and-so is coming, this is what we did. Whoever went there never left without their generosity, their warmth, their affection, and their warm hospitality that pervaded. There are people who know that to this day. So I said to Musa, if I want to get there one day, I need some principles in my life. You know, we unprincipled fellows grew up in the sugarcane farm. And I saw a man who, and you know, when the Pandit said it at that time, you don't have to have education. He said you have to have wisdom. And at that time I felt there's something in my heart and I felt my neck, you know, the hair was standing here. I know you're going to say you haven't got much hair, but it stood up. Because I could hear those words when Musa used to tell us, I don't care what degrees you've got and I don't care what symbols you've got and you don't know this. Show me how you'll treat other people and become very responsible, become very accountable. We too should go and check the word accountable, responsible, try and work it out, mix it, you know, give us work to do. But when I had the opportunity to leave Musa after I got married and him and Mosi were so generous and produced one of the best weddings you've ever seen at that time. It was probably the first wedding that had a wedding and then a reception. Franchikaka, you spoke there, if you don't recall, you spoke there. Can't remember, see? It shows there, the age difference. He did that. He did things differently. He was first. Mosi had she still has, such a level of creativity. For those of you who even know the level of flower arrangement creativity she put into it, and Mosa would be the man who would stand there and he would admire this thing, and then he had to say, Cat, why are you not putting that one flower this side? Put it this side, put it this side. He had to have his final say in everything that he did. Not in a bad way, but in a way to show, I love you, I care about you, I take interest in what you are doing, and I'm going to show you that I'll make this meaningful for you. So, to finish off today, because we've got time constraints now, we were earlier said we have plenty of time, but time goes like this. In asking Mosa, I said to Mosa, best thing about you say to us, you boys must be better than me, you boys must be better people in the world. You boys at that time, Rajiv, our late Rajiv, and me, you boys, that kind of thing. And he said, well, if you really want to know, then you have to listen to what I did in my life, to be able to change my life, and to be able to change the times, and to be able to be who I am. And I said, great, I'm ready to listen. He said, you see these 5 fingers here? I said, yeah. I thought I'm going to get one, nice one. But he never did that to us. Both I covered up for the boys all the time. He said, you see this hand here? You see this print? Nobody else has got that print. Go and compare it with anyone else. That is unique. You want to be better and you want to take it to generations to come. I said, yeah, because when I make our children better, grandchildren better, carry on. Like he got great grandchildren. He said, okay, look at this hand. Unique, different print. There is no manual you are born with. You are born with this manual, this print has a message for you, and you will leave with this manual. I'm getting more interested in manual and this and that, and Mosa was telling you something. I learned that from you actually. Mosa could look down and his frown would be like that, and when he's telling you something, it's like serious, when he opens his eyes, like like when Mosa looks at you like this, he's telling you something that you got to listen to. He said, look at your fingers now. Which one is the biggest? I said, middle finger. He said, don't do that, do it this way. I said, okay, middle finger. He said, number 1, that is the biggest thing you'll always have in life, self-respect. When you can respect yourself, everybody else will respect you. One of the speakers said that everywhere that Mosa was, people gravitated towards him. It was like this honey attracting all the bees, this nectar. Why? Self-respect. Okay? This is getting difficult, Because we were smoking, drinking, all of that. You're supposed to self-respect, don't smoke, don't drink. Okay, self-respect. Okay, Mosa, next one. He said, you see this finger here? I said, yeah. He said, what do you use this finger for? I said, pointing. He said, don't point it at anyone. What's another word when you're doing this? I said, direction. He said, yes. Always have direction in your life. If that direction is one more step than yesterday, take that direction. If that direction makes a difference to one more person, take that direction. If that direction makes one more person feel better, take that direction. Hey, I'm getting happy, I'm getting like some top lessons, yeah? No university will teach you that. No manual, no book will teach you that. Then he said, okay, let me make it a little easier for you. He said, what do you wear in this finger here? I said, ring. He said, what does ring mean? I said, commitment. He said, make sure, no matter what you do, you are totally and utterly committed to it. If you're driving a bus, drive it with so much commitment, the passengers will love you. They'll only want to go in your bus. If you're flying an aeroplane, every passenger will find out which pilot is on this aeroplane and will take that flight. Doesn't matter what you're doing. He related it to transport. He said, you've got to have that level of commitment no matter what you do. He said, if you wash dishes, you must have that commitment. And there are times you must be committed to walk away. And I had to listen to this and learn so much more from him. And I said, okay, Mosa, small finger, I'm thinking I'm going to win now. Small finger, nothing here. He said, you see this little finger here, you ever got hurt on it? I said, no, Mosa, I didn't get hurt on it. He said, you want me to hurt you now? No. Let me tell you something. Those of you who didn't know how strong Keso Mosa was, we've been in some situation, I can tell you something. If that voice didn't work, which worked 99.9% of the time, let me tell you something about that hand. Musa was a very strong man. Don't underestimate how strong that guy was. So, because I got involved with some people who were trying to mess with him, and I saw him clean them out. And that was really good. I learned some few moves there. I said, Musa, small finger. He said, no matter how little that contribution is to making this world a better place, do it. Whether you provide a job for someone, whether you give someone a loaf of bread, whether you buy them a new pair of shoes. He used to make me take his shoes and give his shoes away. We used to make sure his shoes was really shining, not like our shoes, but when that shoe was still shining, it looked brand new. He made sure somebody else without shoes had a shoe. He said, you are contributing to a better world. That is why when you were talking about, like somebody was talking about, he made contributions to this and that. I knew. Mostly men sometimes hide things from women. I knew when you tell me, don't tell Mosi, we would go to school libraries, write out checks. I used to go with him to Durban every Tuesday for board meetings. He took on some of the best advocates in that so-called board meeting, transportation board, etc. I witnessed that. I witnessed people like the late Makanya telling him, please sit down. He wasn't even a lawyer, he took on advocates in front of called him the board chairman or whatever. So that little contribution to make a place a better world, the world a better place was so important. Okay, Musa, I'm getting it. Nah, I said, all right, Musa. That's one. He said, whatever you do, be effective. Be effective. I said, Musa, what effective means? He says, you see, and Musa loved movies. When I go to, there was Aspire in Tonga, but do you remember? When I go there, I come with the video machine, I come with in those days you had to hire a video machine, and I come with the movies, video cassettes. But you know how many people forget the power cord and they come here with the cord, aux cable from the TV to the video machine? Be effective. I said, oh, Musa, I'm not really understanding that language very well. He said, listen to me carefully. In your life, you will see many flies banging at a closed window and making a big noise. And those flies will irritate you and you want to kill them. You may be watching TV. And he said, there are other times in your life when the fly is going to find a gap. The window might be a little open, the fly finds that gap and it gets out. It is an effective fly. It found the opportunity, it found the gap, it created, it made a way. Geez, I was getting like highly motivated here. Really seriously motivated. And I said, okay, Musa, is that over? He said, no. What are these 5 fingers connected to? I said, Musa, these 5 fingers are connected to your palm. He said, how big is your palm in comparison to your fingers? I said, well, it's the biggest part of this whole thing. He said, the biggest part of this whole thing, that part of you having self-respect and commitment and contribution and direction and effectiveness is based on your self-discipline. You will not be able to run the comrades, you will not study anything, you will not make anything in life if you do not have discipline. So with that, I was absolutely grateful that I got these lessons from Musa. So many others can tell you about great lessons that have made them into great people today. The only reason each one of you are here is you have part of that memory with you. I can tell you, if Musa could say something now, he would say, okay, if you took one point from each speaker of what I did and applied it in your life, in your community, in this world, we're all going to chase a better world. When we started this whole thing about let's have a better world, Musa said to me, you can't have a better world. You first have to create better people who create a better world. So I'd like to thank each one of you for being here, for Mosi and the family, and obviously paying tribute to Musa and remembering him in the ways that he loved to be remembered most, which is, hey, let's get out there and do it. So thank you all, Rabbi. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Paul. And this is one of the products of Keso Bhai's motivation. He turned Paul into a very highly acclaimed motivational speaker. We even train staff at Mercedes-Benz. And this is all the aspirations we receive from Keso Bhai. We've come to the end of the program at this venue. At 4 o'clock we will then leave for the crematorium. There's refreshments provided, but the cremation will only be at 6 o'clock because it's the earliest slot we could get. So I actually ask all of you, if possible, please let's give Keso Bhai a good send-off. Tongat has lost a very, very good person. as all the speakers have said, Keso was involved at every level. He was still involved highly with transport and improving the lives of the poor and underprivileged. And recently, when the tornado hit La Messi and so forth, I gave him a call that very same evening, and his words to me is this: Roy, I'm safe. I don't know what saved me, but I'm safe because his destructions are right around him. And I told him, Keso, you can only save because the person you and Kari Bhabi are. So once again, thank you for attending. Please have a safe trip back for all those who travel from far and wide. I'll hand you over to the Bhajan group that will conclude up to 4 o'clock, and please partake of the refreshments as provided. Thank you.
Speaker.
Sorry, dear friends. Testing. Dear friends and relatives, we have one more speaker, the Honourable Member of Parliament, Naren Singh, who was a very good friend of Keso Bhai. I remember meeting Naren when Keso Bhai should go around looking for spares. He was also in the transport business, and they go back many years. I'm sure well over 50 odd years. Over to you, Naren.
Thank you very much, Roy Bhai. Prem Namaste to all of you. Thank you, Roy Bhai, for sending me the funeral notice early on. In fact, this is the third funeral I'm attending today, and spoke at the other two as well. And Rashful Chatsworth to hear, because as you say, Keso Bhai and I go back a long, long way. Although he's older than me, but I think we were known for taking people for a ride. And we were taking them for a ride in the bus game. I hope I'm not taking people for a ride now in the political game. No, at least 50 years or more than 50 years, because in 1973, my dad handed over the bus business to my brother and I. And Transportation Board, local road transportation board, was where we used to meet very, very often. And I remember once Mr. Leon, the chair of the Transportation Board, saying to Mr. Puvalingam's article clerk, I don't think you should present this case for the Singh's bus company. Let Mr. Singh do it. And I was a young chap.
and I presented the case. And I learned all of that from Keso Bai, from Royal Passenger Service, Uncle Amichan. We were the fundis in the transport game at that time. And I remember coming here on occasions for spare parts. Flying Lotus will come, look for diff, look for gearboxes. So I thought it was incumbent of me to come and at least pay my last respects to a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful person that worked so hard in his life. And whilst the giant oak tree has fallen, the roots still remain. And I'm sure that his family and his friends will benefit from all the great work that he did for the community. And you know, in those days, transport was very easy for us. Nowadays, you can't be engaged in the transport business. There is so much of conflict with the taxi operators and so on and so forth. But I'm still very proud of my son, that when my dad started the business in 1956, what's that, 70 years or so now, my son is still running the company. Albeit that he's cut down on the number of buses and cut down on competition with taxi people because they killed you. And I know Keso Bai used to tell me, you know, the threats on his life. And although we were the pioneers, the Indian community were the pioneers of the bus transport business. Without us, very, very few of our black colleagues would have been able to get to their places of work. We provided the service, and after a while, when they didn't need us anymore, they kicked us out, and they are providing the service. But to Keso Bai, who stood the test of time, and to his family, I want to say that he's left a wonderful legacy for all of you, and may his soul rest in eternal peace. Thank you.
Thank you, Naren. You know, it's on this sad occasion of Keso Bai's death, but since you are around, please visit the devastation that the tornado has caused in Tonga and the plight of our poor people with water. And I'm sure, and we're all proud of you in Parliament. Thank you, Naren. Thank you for sacrificing your afternoon. We'll do the concluding bhajans now.
Thank you.
It's off the bedroom floor. Thank you, gentlemen. That's fine. We'll manage from there.
You still have a few minutes.
This will go, please. Thank you.
Thanks so much for coming. They should fight with Mrs. Pen, Ramlal and all of them. Transportation board, you should remember. My baby, you know, this is rice. This is my No, don't worry. I made it. Don't have to check them.
We'll organize that big way. Okay. Yeah, let's come going.
Yeah, tell you I should take one.
Yeah, I think you should go. Nobody will come there because it's a private. No.
I will send you a good send-off. Allowing. Let you come there.
Tell him come this side. Sun is
okay. Guys, let's do it on this side because the sun is.
Down the side.
Take some balloons. Come. Come. Take the balloons. Take the balloons. All right.
Yeah, for our job we count from 007. It's 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Yeah, it's just a toy. Sorry.